This is my grandfather Andrew Hibian's machine that he designed. It was made in Chicago, and he designed this plate. It's electrified because most of the old Slovak ones are like tongs with plates on them, and I can't imagine how they did them on that.
Yeah. And then, and what are they used for?
They make Christmas wafers that, excuse me, Slovaks and other Eastern European countries use on Christmas Eve to share peace and contentment with their families. Mm-hmm. Some people use oil. I've had different recipes for batters, but this is the most successful one for this machine. And you just put a little beeswax on, and then now the last one that I did was spoiled, and this first one will most likely be spoiled because just a little thing like this beeswax film displaces the batter and makes it like lace.
Eve would come.
Christmas Eve was a very special dinner where we had the kolobasi and the sauerkraut soup and this and that. But before the dinner, and different families had different traditions. Some would pass one wafer around and everyone would take off a piece and share blessings and good wishes for the other family members. But I think possibly because our family had ready access to the wafers, we were entitled to one per person, and usually somewhere on the table would be like garlic for the bitter, and then they would, my father or the head of the household would put a cross on it, the sign of the cross with honey, and they would, he would pass it around, and each one had to go around the table. Like if you were sitting on the right side of the table, he would start it on the left and it would go all the way around till it got to you. This center says, Slava na vysostek Bohu, a na zemi pokoj. And it was glory to God in the highest and on earth peace. And this was unique because it ties Christmas and Easter together, because in the center it's like an Easter symbol. You just have to put a very little batter because this machine is calibrated to a certain thickness. I set the timer for 45 seconds.
In the old days, your grandfather would make them for all of the Slovak churches?
Exactly.
Okay, here we go.
More familiar with that. But they would go up there and make a batch of batter and make them, and like one person would bake them, one person would cut them, and they used to cut the oval out by hand.
Yeah, they didn't have a trimmer.
So they were really... and then they would package them. It was like white tissue or heavy tissue type paper, and wrap it with this special red string that they got. And they had them packed up in certain quantities per bundle, and they would line them up in a big wooden crate and then they would get the orders from the churches, and they would just, package them up, and either the pastors would drive and pick them up or they would ship them. Okay, one side. And what's fun, apparently, a lot of the Slovak families would, like somebody would own the irons, and then they would invite other Slovak families to come in and use the iron and make some for their families and stuff. And so, since I've had it, we've kind of gotten into renewing that tradition because I still have a lot of Slovak friends in the area that I grew up with. My father, who was a pastor, would go around to every member of the congregation in the weeks before Christmas and visit them and distribute the Oplatky. However, in recent times they have taken to just putting them in the churches and places.
So how many do you make when you do them?
Only between 200 and 300. It depends on the year and who orders them. They go to California, Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio. I started out just doing it for like the immediate descendants of the family, and now I've opened it up to just Slovaks that I've come to know.